pottery friends, as promised, I'm back to do another clay demo for you. And this one you can actually do at home. It doesn't have to be with the kind of clay that we use here. You can do this with Play-Doh, you can do it with Sculpey or Fimo, which you can get at any Michael's Crafts and Art Supply store. If you do this with Sculpey, not to be rude, but to make it work better, I suggest that you sit on it before you work with it. What I mean is take the package, put it in your pocket, let it warm up to body temperature, because if you try to work it when it's out of the package and cold, it's going to be really not very much fun. So if you warm it up first, it works much better and it's much more like regular clay. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do a little figure of a seated person, like a little meditating person. And I'm going to show you how to do this in what I call the ball, snake, and pancake method of sculpture. And you'll see what I mean in a moment. But what it basically means is that with these three shapes, the ball, the snake, and the pancake, you can make just unimaginable amounts of different types of sculptures using these three main shapes, and occasionally a variation off of one of these main shapes. So to show you what I mean by this, let's first start with a snake. So we take our clay or our Play-Doh or our polymer clay, whatever you're working with, and we roll out a snake. And this is going to be sort of a variation of a snake, because this snake is going to turn into the legs of our seated figure. And just like a real leg, which is thicker at the side and tapers off towards the ankle, I'm going to do my snake into a tapered snake. See how it's thicker in the center and it's more tapered towards the end? Then I'm going to take that snake, I'm going to give it a 90-degree bend right in the middle. See that? And then I'm going to take that and do two more 90-degree bends, and that's where the knees would be. And to bend it, I'm pinching it right here lightly and bending it. And you want a bend, not a curve, because a real knee has a good bend to it, not a curve. Then we just take one of those legs, put it right on top of the other. Now you may notice I'm not scoring and flipping. That's because this is a sculpture that's made so quickly that the clay is still very, very moist. So when you do this, try to do it very fast and loose and have it be more like the idea of a person rather than an actual detailed sculpture. Here we go. You can see it's going to look like little legs. I'm going to set that down to the side. Now here comes the pancake section. Now the way that I like to make my pancakes is I round out a nice lump of clay into a ball, start with ball, and smack it down into a pancake. That's fun. Press it down a little bit more. And this is something else that you may have at home that's very helpful in the pottery world, rolling pin. Give it a couple rolls one direction, flip it, roll it the other way. And it's going to take you a few tries to get this right, because you have to get all the sizes to be in the right proportions for each other. Now here we have our pancake. I'm going to do something a little bit more exciting here. I have an old crochet doily from the thrift store. I'm going to lay that right on top. I'm going to roll gently right over it. What that's going to do is it's going to give us a really cool texture. Look at that. So this is going to be the shawl for our seated figure. And I'm seeing right away it's going to be way too big. So I'm going to use another common household object. I have them in two different sizes. Cookie cutters. I'm going to make this a little smaller. And you can use a lot of things with a cookie cutter. You could take something like a jar for tennis balls or something like that. Use that to cut out shapes. Alright, so here's our pancake. And I need arms for this figure. And that's going to take one more snake. And since the arms are smaller than the legs, I want a smaller snake. But just like when I did the legs, I want it to taper a little on both ends. Now remember, the arms have to be smaller and thinner than the legs. Otherwise, your little person sculpture is going to look more like a gorilla sculpture. Which is fine if that's what you're going for. In this case, I'm not making a meditating gorilla, I'm making a meditating person. That looks about right for the arms. It's a little smaller than the legs. So then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my pancake, put it in my hand. I'm going to take this snake, which is going to be my arms, put it right across the middle, just like I'm going to be making a taco. See how it's way too long? That's okay. Pinch it off, do a little armectomy right there. And then round this off a little bit. Then, I'm going to put my hands right here. Fold it over about halfway like a taco. Not closing it all the way, just about halfway. Now I'm going to attach the body to the leg. This part, we start with a little ball. Make a little short snake. A little short snake. And really we should do floor it and flip it, but I'm going to do lick it and stick it. If it's Sculpey clay, you don't even need to do that. There's going to be the trunk of the body. And then I take this part, put it right over the top, like so. And then I'm going to pinch here, pinch here. See how it looks like a person already? And because I want him to be meditating, I'm going to take those arms that are standing out like this, and I'm going to bring them in. And remember, the arms don't curve, they bend. So on each side, bend. Starting to look more like a person already, huh? Well, I know you know what part's next, and you can probably guess what shape it's going to be too. Ball. Now you're going to notice that if you put a really, really too big one on, he's going to look like a cartoon or like a Lego person. We don't want him to look like that. We need a head that's about half that size. And also, heads are normally not completely round like a ball. Normally they're more like an oval shape. So I'm going to take that head that I made, and I'm just going to manipulate it just a little bit so it's more of an oval shape. Once again, lick it and stick it. Give it a little wiggle, make sure it stays on there really well. And you can give him eyes, nose, a face, hair, whatever you want, but I'm just going to keep this very simple. It'll just be a little guy who sits in a potted plant and keeps guard, keeps watch. There we go, little meditating figure. If your first one doesn't look that great, don't worry. Squish it and start over. See you next time.